Hi there, and welcome back to Musicians Edition's Practice With Me for Alto Saxophone. I'm your teacher, Risa, and today we're working in the Standard of Excellence, Book 3. We're on page 16, still looking at the Baroque period. Actually, is it still? Oh no, we're moving on to the Baroque period. And the Baroque period gets more into the harpsichord kind of stuff, and the music gets a little more complicated, okay? So things start to get a little exciting in the Baroque period. Okay, that's from 1600s to 1750. All right, so today we're going to be learning some new things like the trill. As you can see, that's going to be coming up, but we'll talk about that when we get there. All right, so first, let's take a look at exercise 61, Balance Builder. Now in this exercise, you're going to be playing with the rest of the band, and you're going to really want to listen to the chord structure here and tuning, okay? So let's talk about this a little bit. We're going to get into a little bit of theory today. So as you can see on the top, we have tonic, subdominant, tonic, dominant, and tonic. And this refers to chord progressions and dealing with the scale, okay? So the tonic is like your home base, okay? So your root chord is going to be 1, okay? So as you can see with our key signature, B flat, this would be, our root note would be B flat. So that's where it starts off with, okay? And with our home notes and just the buildup of it, it's root 3, 5. For tonic, that's our home, okay? So you can see here it's broken down 1, 3, 5, which will be B flat, D, and F, and then we have it written as the chord altogether. Now remember, on saxophones, we can't play the chord by ourselves. It's going to take at least 3 other saxophonists to play that, okay? Now the subdominant. This is where the sound, it's still a comfortable sound, or the chord. So this is going to be the 4th chord, which means we're going to be playing starting with the 4th note. Okay, and the chord is still built with 1, 3, 5. Okay, so you can see that. Tonic, we're going back to the home, very comfortable sounding chord. And then dominant, we're going to add some tension in here. Okay, so the dominant is actually the 5th chord. Okay, going on the 5th note, starting on F. The chord is still built in thirds, so root 3rd, 5th. Okay, and then we're going to basically resolve it back into our home sound on the tonic, or root, or zebra, or progression 1. So our progression is 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. And you can see that written where the actual chord is. It has the Roman numerals, okay? 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. That is the chord progression, okay? I know it's a little overwhelming, but it makes a little more sense as we go along and we start working with other people and start building chords and really getting into theory. Okay, so anywho, let's go ahead and play this. Okay, it's andante, so it's on a slower pace. We said B flat, E flat, 4, 4, okay? All right, here we go. Ready? And remember, we're just kind of listening here. So with the end chord, I'm going to just put a track with all 3 sounding saxophones. We're going to play this 3 times. Pick whichever one you want to end on. Change it up each time. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. So you can kind of see how the chords help progress the way things sound, from being very comfortable to getting a little more intense, back to comfortable, tension, resolve. Okay, when we're playing music, it's kind of like storytelling. And with stories, usually there's a comfortable feel, there's usually some form of conflict, and there's usually some form of resolution. Same thing with music. All right, let's do it again. This time, pick a different ending or ending note. Okay, so if you did bottom the whole time through, maybe do middle or the higher one or whatever. Just pick a different note to end on there. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Just so we can hit all of those notes in the chord, we're going to do it one more time, and this time do the note that you didn't do. So if you didn't do the top at all, this time do the top. If you didn't do the bottom, do the bottom. If you didn't do the middle, do the middle. All righty, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Let's go ahead and move on to exercise 62 now. Trumpet tune, okay? So this is just a little fun piece for us to kind of practice things we've learned, okay? So first let's take a look at our key signature. What do we have? We got 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Tell me about our time signature. 4/4, we're keeping it nice and easy, okay? So take a moment real quick to see what is happening in our music, if you got accidentals, articulations, difficult rhythms, whatever. Real quick. All right, that's all we got. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a sight read. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. That one kind of feels a little bit nighty, doesn't it? All right, so let's take a look at it, okay? So that first measure, the rhythms here are not too difficult. Just pay attention to those accents. Ta, ta, ta. And then just remember that 8th note. So we're just coming up on the and. Okay, and then this is where some people get off on it. It's just long, short, quarter, quarter. Okay? And I think of these as long, short, long because it is a dotted 8th going into a 16th. So it is kind of long, short, long, short, long. Okay? That rhythm is played out through a lot. So you're going to get comfortable with that. Okay, and then on line 2, we did have the G sharp. That throws a lot of people off there because it's, let's see what, 1, 2, 3, measure 3 where it first starts off. Okay, it continues with that G sharp because it's in the same measure. And it kind of throws us off seeing that G sharp again. So a lot of people will have a tendency to play that G natural to G sharp, but that's still G sharp. So if you miss it, mark it in. Okay, and then same thing with that 16th note, that's still a G sharp as well. Okay, and that rhythm sometimes throws people off a little bit too. We'll break it down a little bit more. Okay, and then everything else is pretty good. Nothing like really jumps out at you. So let's look at line 1, okay? Let's just play that with the accents. and forte. 1, 2, 3, 4. Long, short, long, short, long. Okay, let's look at line 2. This is the one that gets a little bit harder with those 16th notes and those G sharps. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just remember to keep that G sharp. So once again, mark it in if you missed it, okay? And then looking at that last measure on line 2, we have the dotted quarter. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay? So just kind of pay attention to that. Write the counts in if you need to. All right, let's do that line one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Now let's look at line 3. We have a little bit of dynamic movement here, okay? So now we're gonna come down to mezzo piano, and then we're gonna come right back in at mezzo forte on those A's, okay? Make sure we're still putting those accents on those quarter notes. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So just remember, watch those accents, watch those dynamics. Also C sharp, if you missed the C sharp, mark it in. All right, let's take a look at that last line, okay? Coming in at forte, there's a retardando there, second to last measure. For the video purpose, we're not gonna do that, but if you're in band, watch your director. Mark that even, put glasses, whatever, okay? And then we're gonna just end that last measure on fortissimo, loud. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Now let's go ahead and put it all together from beginning to end. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, excellent job.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musician's Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musician's Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
Okay, let's look at 63. This is a French song, I believe. I don't know French, so if I get the name wrong, please forgive me. La Petite Reine. I don't know if you know French and you know how to actually pronounce this. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so this is a duet. Okay, so let's take a look at, well, I guess let's talk about the things that are the same. So take a look at our key signature. What do we have? F sharp, C sharp, and now a G sharp. Tell me about our time signature. Now 3, 4, so we're going to be playing 3 beats now, okay? We have a repeat at the end. Where does that repeat take us to? The beginning. All right, now the book. When you see a staccato note at the end of a slur, slur to the note, but make it short. Okay, so I guess for part A, that would be the second to last measure. So we'll play. So when you get to that A, just treat it as if it were an 8th note followed by an 8th rest. So it would be A for 8th note, rest for an 8th note. That's how you kind of just treat that. All right, let's go ahead and give this a try. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Don't forget they were G sharp, so if you missed those, mark them in. Okay, watch your slurs, and hopefully that made sense with that second to last measure. Keep that A short. All right, let's take a look at part B now, okay? So it's going to have the same kind of rule when it's the slurred into a staccato. You just shorten that last note, okay? So let's go ahead and give this one a try now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, excellent job. Once again, those are G sharps, so mark them in if you missed them. All right, let's play this as a duet now. So you go ahead and play part A, I'll play part B. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, excellent job. Let's swap parts now. So this time I'm going to play part A, you play part B. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, excellent job. Fun, huh? Yeah. All right, let's move on and look at 64, okay? We have a lot going on here. So first, let's talk about trills. That's what we're learning in this lesson mainly today, trills. So take a look at the top here. A rapid alternation from written note to note above it in the key of the piece, okay? So we can see a good example in our actual exercise. Okay, so you can see what the trill looks like. It's got the TR and like these squiggly line things on the top. Okay, what that means is, so here we have a B marked in. You're going to take it a note higher, so it's going to be B, C, B, C, B, C, B. Really fast, like those 16ths. All slurred, you're not going to tongue that. So when you're looking at the measure 1 and measure 2, we play those exactly the same. Okay? Now a lot of times a composer will use the trill because that's so much cleaner and so much easier to see than just blotching a bunch of 16ths on there for back and forth. Okay? So the book says on trills, move the keys as rapidly as possible, keep the air moving. So yes. And then it says use the trill fingering found on page 47. So let's take a look at 47 here. 47, okay, so now we have our trill fingering chart, okay? So unlike the other books, we had the actual finger charts. This is the trill finger chart. So the red is going to tell us which fingers we're going to move together. So we have B natural going to C, okay? Now, we could play it with like actual B to C like this, but it's kind of messy. Right? So, what they have written in, let me go back. We have the first finger, so as if it's B, right? And then remember we have this as our alternate fingering. Well, it's going to come really handy for trills. Much cleaner and you can go a lot faster. So, let's do it nice and slow first. Let's just do measures 1 and 2 right now. There's a repeat. We're going to actually do the repeat. So we're going to do this. We're going to start speeding it up a little. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. All right, let's speed it up, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent. Let's really speed this up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. That's all we're going to do, okay? And a lot of times in your pieces, you can just hear how others trill it, and it really is. Okay? Like, nobody is counting that. They're just, I can see I hold that out for 3. So then in my head, I'm just counting 1, 2, 3. I'm not doing the 1 and a 2 and a 3 and forget that. Okay, so that is A. Let's take a look at B, okay? We're now going from D to E natural. So let's take a look at our book here and see what they recommend. And once again, if you're ever unsure, whether you should do it the standard way or like this way, you can always try things and see what works too. Okay, so we have D to E. Now for this one, this is going to be standard D to E. You can tell because, well, the book put the asterisks next to the ones that are like the alternative ones, which then are standard. Anywho, so we're doing actual D to E because all we're doing is just doing this ring finger. Okay, so that one's easy enough. Though if the trill is out forever, your finger might get a little tired, but that's on the composer. Okay, so let's go ahead and give that a try. Nice and slow. Section B with repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, one more time, really speeding it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job, okay? And remember, we can even take that faster. Okay? All right, let's look at our last one, C, okay? This one's G to A. This one doesn't use any form of alternative fingering because all we're doing is ring finger on the left hand this time. All right, so let's give C a try with repeat. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. All right, let's do it again. A little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent. Let's do it one more time, even faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. All right, Before I let you go, we do have extra practice though for these trills. So let's go on to page 45. We're on 64 here, 64. Okay, so this one here, we're only going to see the trills. We're not going to see what it actually looks like. So we're first starting off with G. Okay, G goes to what? G goes to A. Now we have A. A goes to what? B. We have B to what? B to C, and this one was recommending our, remember, our alternative C here. Okay, now we have C to D. Try that one real quick. Yeah, that ain't gonna work now, is it? So aside from it telling us, okay, that's how you know that there's probably a different one, because that's just gross. Ain't nobody got time for that. So let's take a look at what the book tells us to do for C to D. Okay, so C to D, it's telling us to use the keys up here. And the middle one. So it's going to actually be like, wait, I think I'm reading the wrong one. So our original finger is going to be C. Oh, wait, zebra. So our original fingering is going to be C, okay? And then we're hitting the middle one. Okay, the middle one here on top. We play it kind of like how we do with this one. You hit it with your finger here. We're not actually using this. It's here. Okay? Then we have D to E. That one's standard. E to F sharp, because we do have the sharp still in the key, but okay, that one's easy enough. It's still one finger. Then we have F sharp to G. Easy enough, just the middle. And then G to A. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a try. The hard ones are going to be the ones that are the alternative fingerings, but you'll get it. Just remember to practice it. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. This one, just come back to, practice it. Make sure you get used to the B's to C's, C's to D's. That one can be a little tricky. The sound doesn't really sound as strong because they're not their traditional ones, but it works because trills are fast, so it's fine. Okay, and then work on speeding this up too. You want to be able to get it really fast. Right, so on and so forth. So you want to make sure you speed it up and you want to be able to get those trills quickly. All right, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to hit like, notify, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our practices. Thanks for joining, and until next time.